Welcome to the Wander Podcast. I'm your host, Gracie Hins. If you're new here, we're a podcast dedicated to sharing the stories of the outdoors, including conversations with creatives, athletes, and anyone else that I think has an interesting story. Today, I'm chatting with Svea Irving, and most importantly, she is heading to the Olympics and will be competing for the U.S. in the Halfpipe on February 19th and 21st. And in this conversation, we dive into her journey in Halfpipe. It's really cool. Actually, her and her brother are both going to be competing for the U.S. halfpipe team at this Winter Olympics. So I think that that's really cool. But in this conversation, we learn about her journey, what qualifications have looked like, what she does in her free time. We also touch on her video Stasis, which is like one of the most beautiful ski videos that I've ever seen in my entire life. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy this conversation and just get a little bit of a glimpse into her life. And if for some reason you don't want to listen to the whole podcast all the way through, I also upload all of our conversations in a written format on our Substack or website. So yeah, without further ado, here's our conversation. Okay, well, the first question that I love to just start out with is the question of who are you and what do you spend your time doing?
Oh gosh.
I know it's a little bit of a heavy
Overall,
hitter.
my name is Svea Irving, and I am a half-pipe skier, but also just a lover of nature and being outside and all things outside. And I'm from Winter Park, Colorado, and I currently live in Driggs, Idaho.
Amazing. Okay, so now going back to what we were just talking about beforehand, what did take you to Driggs?
More, more access to getting outdoors. I think I've just growing up in Colorado and being in a small mountain town, I love being surrounded by big mountains and hiking and biking and climbing, and Driggs has a great outlet for that. So it's been fun to be able to like explore a new place just because I've always been in Colorado, and to Idaho and Wyoming, being so close to Wyoming too is super beautiful, and it's been fun to have new terrain to explore and get outside more.
Well, and those are some rad mountains right there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay, just kind of going, yeah, I'd love to just get like a little bit more of an overview on you and kind of like your ski journey. So I don't know where you want to start with that. It kind of seems like your whole family is like very, very steeped in
Super.
skiing. Yeah.
Well, so I grew up at kind of the base of the resort. My brother and I can pretty much ski home from the resort, so we've always been very privileged to have such a close access to skiing, and having that there, it was just kind of inevitable that we would both become very fond of the sport. But my mom, her background is she was an alpine skier, has always grown up loving skiing, and then her and my dad met at Crested Butte while he was a ski patroller, and now he's been the director of ski patrol at Winter Park for I think almost 30 years maybe.
Whoa.
And my mom was a Spanish teacher for 30 years. She just retired and now is leading like ski tours for the resort and stuff. So skiing has always just been like the way that my family and I spend time together, and like for the holidays or just whenever we're all home, that's what we love to do, and that's what we love to share to do together. And I think that's always just how Brooke and I have gotten into it. But I think we were both on snow when we were like 2 or 3 years old, and I was placed in like the all mountain program, so I was doing a bit of everything, trying to learn like if this is what I wanted to do and what I excelled at. But my brother joined the Park and Pipe program, and I was doing alpine racing and moguls. And I remember going to one of his events when I was like 7 or 6 years old and watching him ski halfpipe, and I was like, I want to do that. So followed in his footsteps, and we've both been skiing pipe since then. I got onto the US ski team, I think at 14 years old or 15. And now I've been, yeah, like 10 years later, we were both still on the US ski team, traveling the world to compete in World Cups and events like that to continue to chase our dream.
Wait, so when was it that you joined the US team?
I think I was 14 years old or 15 years old.
And then was it kind of like straight into the whole World Cup circuit at that point, or
Um,
was it?
at that point, I was on the rookie team, so I was doing more like smaller events. Like I grew up doing USASA nationals and like that
Hmm.
circuit, and then I got into the Rev Tours. And once I got onto the rookie team, I was doing like the Rev Tour level events, and then I think maybe a year after doing Rev Tours, I got into World Cups at like 16 and started doing that.
Okay.
My brother's 3 years older than me, so it was nice to kind of have him as like a guide of like how everything worked, and like especially with that at the time being such a male dominated sport, it was nice to have my brother to kind of like know that I know someone and have that support. I think it made it that transition to doing that program a lot easier, especially because it was like 40 guys and then like two girls on our team in Winter Park, which was awesome. And it pushed me, I think, to be a really good skier, but it would have been nice to have some more girls.
Hmm. Yeah, I can imagine. Well, and okay, so this year, both of you are going to be in the Olympics, right?
Yes, which is super
Okay,
special.
that's so cool. Yeah.
It's been very stressful to knowing that both of us are trying to pursue this goal and just, oh, yeah, a lot of pressure just from our community and knowing we both have the chance and hoping that we both were able to succeed and qualify, which we
Yeah,
did.
what have kind of, yeah. Well, what is kind of like the lead up to that been? Um, because I imagine like you've kind of been thinking about it since probably the last Olympic cycle, but like,
Yeah.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
because he was at the last
He
Olympics,
went to the
right?
last Olympics. I was one spot out and was pretty young at the time the last Olympics happened. But yeah, so this will be his second and my first, which is really cool. But like our US men's halfpipe team is like insane to qualify for. So
Mm-hmm.
just like watching them all battle it out and they're all like really good friends was like really tough, I think, for everyone. But I'm super excited and happy that Brooke was able to qualify and get the fourth spot. But yeah, it's been hectic for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and wait, okay, because when was the actual qualifying event? It was,
We had five total this year, and we had one in China, and then we had Copper, and then we had Calgary and Aspen. So sorry, four. We had four
holy
events.
cow, that's a lot.
And that's pretty much the only way to qualify. It's one top result. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
just get, yeah, for the four spots for the Olympic team, men and women, you need to have the top result to qualify out of everyone. So it's
Dang.
definitely a lot of pressure, and I ended up not doing a lot of the Olympic qualifiers this year because I got hurt earlier in the summer, so that kind of made it even more stressful knowing that I only had two events to qualify for, and if I didn't pull through, then I wasn't going to make it, which is ruthless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of nuts. What was the injury this summer?
I just had a weird fall in New Zealand at our training camp, and I partially tore my patellar tendon in my knee. So it's not a season ending, which I was super grateful for because knees, as we all know, are just can take you out for a long time, especially in skiing. And I've had like an ACL, MCL injury before, and I was so scared that I did something more serious, but it's just been very lingering all season, and it's just hard to get the amount of reps and the amount of training in that I want because my knee is just constantly pissed off. But it's getting better now that we're not skiing and training as much as we have been the last like 3 or 4 months.
Mm-hmm. Well, and have you just been mostly in Driggs area the last couple of months, or has it kind of
No, I
been?
haven't been home in Driggs in months. Like I've been kind of on the road. Like I don't think I've had more than like 4 days at home in the last 4 months just because of training and stuff. So we've been all over. We were in Europe for a training camp, then we were in China for 2 weeks, and then we went straight to Copper, and then we had a few days off for Christmas, and then we flew straight to Calgary, and then Calgary straight to Aspen. So, and then I went home for 4 days, and I went back to Aspen for X Games. So it's been very ongoing. This is my first time I've been home for more than a couple days, I think.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a gnarly schedule. And well,
Yeah.
and with that schedule, was it like a pairing of competing and then just training?
Yeah, less training just at this, like the training was in the beginning of the fall, but since then it's just been a lot of competing and um yeah, a lot of time on snow and those competitions. We just have they're about like a week for each event, so it takes up a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
We also have the snowboarders as well, so we're balancing training with them for the comps and such.
Mm-hmm. When you're traveling, is it traveling with like the same group of people? How do you guys, yeah, how do you guys all kind of manage that? Because I feel like that's a lot of time with some of the same people, but probably kind of in and out, and then like cooking and all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
managing like the stress with of competing.
yeah, I think for myself and all of my teammates, this has been like the most mentally draining season on all of us, and I think it could show with
Hmm.
all of us like living together because I travel with the same people for that I've traveled with for like for the most part like 3 or 4 years. So like we're all pretty close and we have like a good group of girls and guys as well. But I think all of us have just been like so stressed because we know there's only 4 spots for the Olympics and there's a lot more than 4 of us on the team. And knowing like some people had good results and some people hadn't yet. And I think that was just a very stressful dynamic for all of us. But we were all very positive and just trying to stay healthy and be optimistic for each other. And yeah, it's definitely a lot having your biggest competitors, but also your teammates all staying together, traveling together, and cooking together, like you said, and all these things. It's tight corners for sure.
Hmm. Yeah. Has there been like a favorite travel, like out of the last 4 months, has there been a favorite spot?
I would say our training camp before leading up to our season, we were in Kitzsteinhorn, Austria, and we were all staying at this like really cool hotel just with like a lot of saunas and cold plunges, and it was just beautiful. I'd say that was all of our favorite spots because it was just so pretty and relaxing, and yeah, the calm before the storm.
Yeah, those are good things to have. The
Yeah.
sauna, the cold plunge, especially like after being out in the cold all day.
Yeah, so nice to come back to that, and yeah, Europe does those things very well.
Hmm. Okay, I'm curious, like I feel like I've watched a lot of Halfpipe, but I feel like I don't really understand a lot of the
Hmm.
technicalities of it because it's so easy to just kind of like watch on your screen and like be doing something else at the same time and not
Totally.
listening to whatever like all the
Yeah.
commentators saying things. But yeah, I'd love kind of like a little bit of a breakdown of it from you and like as a competitor, like what you're thinking about like when you're sort of like building your run.
Hmm. Yeah, so half pipe is definitely a strange event. Yeah, it's like 22-foot walls, ice walls on both sides with flat ledges on top and a flat tranny in the bottom that connects it. So it's a very minimal margin for error. If you pop too hard or if you don't pop enough, you'll either land on the top and bounce the 2 floors in, or you'll land at the bottom, which is also a very far way to drop. So it definitely takes a lot of time to get used to it and to understand how it works and how to time your tricks and popping and speed and all of those other variables. The way that I kind of approach my competition runs is I'll have like an A, B, and a C run, and those are all determined on the weather, the condition of the pipe, and how I'm feeling on that given day. But my A run will obviously be something that I've been working towards for a while. It's technical. It has a mix of switch left, switch right,
Hmm.
alley-oop, which means you're spinning up the wall instead of down the wall, and higher spinning tricks like a 9, maybe a 10, and that would be the A run. And then the B run would be if maybe the weather's not so good, like speed is a huge variable for us. If it's slow, then
Mm-hmm.
or wind as well, because it could push you further in or push you further out, so you won't land in the sweet spot of the half pipe. So that will be a toned down run with less difficulty, less higher spins. And then from there, I can just go down lower if I need to adjust. But that's like the overall explanation of it. I don't know if you have any more specific questions about it because there's so much that goes into it.
No, that was
So hard
that's
to
a perfect
understand.
rundown. Yeah, it is. It's tricky. I think with all of these things too, it's just like it gets so technical because it is,
Mhm.
there's just so much that goes into it.
Yeah, and I think that's why it's hard for people to watch our sport sometimes because they can't understand like what does well or like what tricks do well and stuff. So I think like we've all as athletes been talking about how there needs to be better ways to like break down our tricks for an audience that has never watched half pipe before. Because you kind of watch it and you're like, what is going on? Like this person spun more, but they went smaller, which is why they did worse. But it's like there's so many different variables into judging that sport.
Mm-hmm. What would be like the ideal way that you think that information get like
Oh,
get out there?
honestly. Yeah, I think just like displaying what the tricks are as each person goes down and kind of showing like how the judges score it, like amplitude, difficulty, like um, the variety, and like all of those different aspects I think are important to like display on the screen so people can see like I don't know, a bar graph or something that shows what scored high and what didn't score high so people can understand it a little bit better.
Yeah, if there were little animations like on the
Yeah,
TV screen, oh, that'd be kind
exactly.
of epic actually. Yeah, because then you could have like a little like just figure that's like this is exactly what happened.
Yeah, like this is why this person got this score and so on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so when you were kind of like debating about like whether you wanted to do like what style of skiing you wanted to move into,
Mhm.
um, obviously like your brother was doing half pipe, and so that was something that you're able to kind of like see. But I mean, like I imagine there was also kind of a point that you had to sort of decide like, okay, I like really want to go like all in on this. Do you like have a certain point that that was?
Yeah, I think when I made the US ski team, I was really excited about the opportunity that like maybe I could actually really do this, like really pursue this, but um I felt like I didn't really like give it my all until like after the last Olympics because I had a knee injury and then just that was my kind of first big injury of my skiing career and I was out for like a year. And I think that was like a big realization. Like I was going to school at CU and I wanted to also
Mm-hmm.
pursue the academic dream, but when I was injured and doing that, I was like, oh my gosh, I miss skiing. Like I think it really put in perspective how much I missed it and how much I really wanted to prioritize that going forward and really wanted to work harder to actually have some like better results and feel more excited about my skiing. So I think that was when it really clicked for me that I should like this is what I want to do and this is what I want to pursue and make a living with. And since then, I think I've had a newfound joy for it for sure.
Mm-hmm. So were you at CU Boulder all 4 years?
Yeah, like 3-ish years. And then I was kind of online, like off and on. I was still doing in-person classes, but I was like barely ever there. So I was just working with teachers and just like in China skiing and having like the worst time change ever and doing exams at like 3 a.m.
Oh my
And
gosh,
same with
that's
Europe. But
horrible.
yeah, so the last 2 years of college were definitely a lot harder because I was not present as much just because I was doing more events and I wasn't injured anymore, so I was skiing a lot more and traveling a
Mhm.
lot more. So that made it difficult, but yeah, I'm glad I still went to school. I think it's good to do both and have something to fall on.
What did you study?
I did strategic communications and then I minored in business and sociology.
Got it. Yeah. And it is kind of nice sometimes having like two different things going on so that you can sort of get
Totally.
like a little bit of a break. And
Just
then it
good,
also
yeah.
reinforces what you're really quite excited about doing.
Yeah, it's good distraction, especially like after skiing, I just have nothing to do, and it was nice to have school or something to keep me off my phone and other things.
Um, so for like the training part of half pipe, what is like a day in the life look like? Or maybe more of like a week in the
Um,
life because I mean, it's I imagine you're not just like in a half pipe the entire time. Like there's
no,
got to be a
yeah,
lot of
definitely.
yeah.
For like when we were in Europe for our preseason training camp, um, we would be like up at like 6:30, go eat breakfast, head up to the hill, and then we'll warm up for like 15 to 20 minutes, train for like 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours, and then we'll head down from the mountain. We'll usually all hit the gym, and then some athletes will get physical therapy if you have any injuries or anything you need to work on, and then we would sauna, cold plunge, go eat dinner, and then wake up and do pretty much the same thing again for like 2.5 weeks every day. Um, and that's kind of the routine that my teammates and I follow. But everyone's a little different with how they spend their afternoons, so I guess that's up to you. But that's like kind of what it looks like for our team.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then when you're at home, is it a little bit different? Or and then like
When
when you're
I'm
looking
like
at
in Driggs or Winter Park,
either or, just not
yeah,
not
I
traveling.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely not skiing half pipe as much when I'm actually have my free time, more time in the gym and more time just skiing for fun and getting outside with my friends and stuff. But I don't really ski half pipe on my free time just because I spend so much time skiing that for competition. That's nice to have some separation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What does the fun time skiing look like?
Um, just probably either ripping park laps if it's a nice sunny day, or if it's obviously a powder day, I will be out in the backcountry or I'll be snowmobiling with my brother, or yeah, just anything other than being in the half pipe pretty much.
Just enjoying it.
Yeah, just enjoying skiing for what it is.
Yeah. Okay, I'm super curious about like Stasis because I think it's kind of
Mhm.
fun like comparing that versus like the technicality of like half pipe, but it's
Mhm.
such a cool video. What was kind of the thought process and like did you come up with the idea? Did somebody else come up with the idea?
I always like felt like my skiing was portrayed as only a half pipe skier.
Mm-hmm.
And when I had the opportunity to do a project with Griffin Glendening, he was like super adamant about like just showing a different side of like my skiing and my personality and just like connecting that to the outdoors and nature. So I think the big emphasis on that project was to just show like the like where it all comes from and like being outside and like being in nature's elements and like the stillness of everything outside of like being in competition because that's all that I really do. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
when that opportunity arose, like Griff and I mean, we didn't have as much time we wanted to do that project. We filmed like the whole thing in less than a week.
Seriously,
So it was
wow, that's impressive.
very hectic. Like we only
Yeah.
had like 2 or 3 good POW days, and then all the other stuff was I think like 4 days of shooting in Mount Hood. Um, so we had a very short time frame to kind
Mm-hmm.
of like convey the message or also get like the skiing clips that I wanted. But that's just kind of how that goes. But it was a huge learning experience for me, learning like how hard filming is. Like that was my first ever project, and we like it takes so much effort, and like you can't just go ski. You have to line everything up for one individual shot, and if you mess up the shot, then you have to skin back up, and maybe find a new place, a new cliff to hit because you just blew out the landing. There were so many things that went into it that I had no idea, and I was like so oblivious that it was very humbling. But I think the overall message that it showed, I think, was cool, and just being able to do something that wasn't skiing half pipe or competition, it was really cool and special for me to be able to do that.
Hmm.
And Griffin did like such a good job. Like he's such a mastermind with editing and like his ideas that he just like really made our whole perspective or our whole like idea come to life. And he did a fantastic job doing that.
Yeah, the whole thing just looked so cool. And like when you just watch it and you're like fully paying attention to it the whole time, I don't know, it just like gives such a cool, unique message. And I don't feel
Such a
like,
good job.
yeah, I don't feel like I've seen a lot of other films that like, I don't know, pay attention to like one idea so specifically and well.
Hmm. Yeah, no, I was super, like when we were done filming, I was like, oh gosh, like we shot a lot of that on film as well, so
Oh
I
my gosh,
couldn't see
yeah.
a ton
Yeah.
of my shots, so I had no idea like how everything looked. So we were kind of just like in the dark with it and just like hopefully this film comes out good, like and all of that. It's just a lot of pressure, but I trusted Griffin. He made it look so good. And he was like he's such a like perfectionist with editing that like his
Hmm.
every minor detail is like so specific and he's put so much thought into it. And yeah, it's just yeah, it was a cool learning experience. I definitely want to do more projects in my future for sure once this year wraps up a little.
Yeah, after
It's
some
been
of
the
the
focus.
craziness starts to subside.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and what
Exactly.
does the next like month look like for you? When are you flying to
Um,
Italy? When are you competing? Isn't that the first
yeah,
like beginning of the first
we
week?
leave in 5 days, I think, and we fly to Milan, and then we'll get dressed and everything sized for clothing, and then we'll
Hmm.
do the opening ceremony, and then my team, the halfpipe team, will go to Loch, Switzerland. We'll train at a halfpipe there for about a
Hmm.
week, and then we'll head to the Olympics because we're towards the end. So, women are on February 19th
Oh,
for
wow. Okay, yeah, that is the end.
qualifiers,
Yeah.
and then our finals are on the 21st, I think.
Hmm.
So we'll go and like get everything, and then we'll go train in Switzerland, and then we'll go back to Livigno for our competition. So it'll
Hmm.
be cool, but yeah, definitely a lot of pressure and a lot to look forward to as well.
How are you and your brother kind of like, are you guys really close? Are you kind of able to just chat about all of this together? Are you guys both going to be in Switzerland for
Hmm.
okay, that's nice.
Yeah, we're pretty much on the road at the same time, training together at all the same camps most of the time. So we spend a lot of time together. We're very close, and it's been fun recently just because we've gotten to do a lot of fun media stuff since we're both getting to go to the Olympics, and
Hmm.
it's been very special to just like do a lot of that stuff with him.
Is the whole family going to be over in Italy?
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. Because they couldn't watch Burke last time because it was COVID.
Oh, right.
This will be their first time going to the Olympics as well, which is
Yeah.
cool.
And then after the Olympics, is it coming back home and like taking a breath, or are you kind of back on the road finishing out some
Um,
of the World Cup stuff?
yeah, I'm gonna come home for a little bit and probably just free ski as much as I can just because I haven't had a single pow day yet. Not that we're even getting much
Not that there's any snow, yeah.
snow, but I'm still feeling like I need to just go do some soul skiing, so I'll definitely do that, maybe try to find some snow somewhere. But then, yeah, back to Loch, Switzerland for Snow League, and then I'll have a World Cup in Corvatsch a week after. So just those two events left after the Olympics, which I'm excited to do because it'll be fun to just like go do an event and not have the stress of getting a certain result, and I can just like
Hmm.
do a run that I really want to do and not just trying to strategize and play defense by just trying to land a run. So it'll be
Hmm.
nice to just like be able to breathe a little and not have to focus on qualifying for anything and just being able to ski for myself and have some more fun.
Hmm. Have you done any of the Snow League events yet?
I did one in China and it was super cool. They're doing a great job. It's like definitely an event that's curated for the athletes more so than um like the higher ups or the VIPs, which we tend to have. So it was super cool. And I think having that event in Switzerland is going to be even more cool.
Hmm. Yeah, it seems like they're doing a really good job with
Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
It's, I think, definitely the future of our sport, and they're really paying the athletes a lot, which is also super cool that they really want to focus on that and focus on building like each of our individual brands as well. Like they really want to bring attention to us, which I think is super cool.
How are they doing that so far? Just through kind of
Just
their.
yeah, just like the way like our like even just like how where the athletes are staying and stuff, like the athlete lounges and stuff, and they have like provide their own physical therapists, like they everything is centered around the athletes, and any feedback that we have about the event, they're super willing to change and to make it safer or to make it more enjoyable for all of us. And also just learning more about like each individual athlete's personal story and like kind of portraying that while we compete, which I think is cool. Instead of
Hmm.
just a name, they're trying to make it more of a brand, and I think they're doing a good job on that. So I'm excited to see the how that's um, how that I don't know what you call it competition circuit Snow League will grow and how they'll um, integrate that into actual like rankings for us because right now it's only fifths.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, and
Hmm.
it just seems like if you can get a lot more information about the people that are competing, like people are just going to be so much more invested in the sport.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So I feel like that's kind of what's so cool to see about it. And if you can sort of build up the storyline a bit throughout like the rest of the year as well. And I feel like
Hmm.
that's what's so hard about some of the Fizz stuff where it's like almost too much information, but not the right kind of
Yeah,
information.
his events are so hard to watch.
Yeah.
They're just like,
And
yeah, they're just not. There's not like any storytelling to it.
what are some of the things that you kind of have in like your back pocket if like you start to get overwhelmed either before a competition or kind of just like start to have thoughts that are running a little bit rampant? Like, what are some things that you feel like you're kind of able to do to like get off the edge a bit?
I would say music is my biggest outlet for that. Like when we're training or whenever I start to have negative thoughts of like of thinking of like negative outcomes of an event or like the pressure is a bit overwhelming, I think I just listen to music and kind of crank it as loud as I can so I can't really think of anything else. Um,
Hmm.
and also, or podcast or literally anything to play in my ears so that I can kind of distract myself.
Cancel out the noise with noise.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I get that. What are, I don't know, what are like some of the other things that you feel like you're just like excited about Olympics wise or not? Yeah, I feel like I've kind of touched on that quite a bit, but I don't know, just any other thoughts that like you kind of wish that people knew because I think the Olympics sort of come around and it's this thing that takes over for 2.5 weeks during the winter.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like we kind of get like a really quick snapshot of like the athletes and the event itself, but somewhat similar. It's like some of that storytelling I feel like is a little bit hard to follow because it's like so quick. So yeah, I don't know if there's any other things that like you're excited about. Yeah, it'd be fun to hear it. Or like other storylines of people that you're just like psyched to see what they do.
Um, well, this is probably a very, not, I'm very excited to see the clothes. A very, yeah. See, a bunch of my friends have already gotten there and have sent me photos and like
Wait,
the
who is the
whole,
brand of it right now? Or like what are
it's
the
Ralph
tiers of
Lauren,
clothing?
it's Nike, J. Crew, and then Kappa is the ski underwear. But I've
Mhm.
seen a lot of the Ralph Lauren stuff and it looks super cool, and the Nike stuff looks really cool. So
The
I'm
Nike
excited to see all
puffies
that.
look incredible.
Yeah, they look so sick. Um, I'm also excited to just kind of just see the whole like Olympic Village and everything and meet the other athletes. I don't know how much we'll be able to watch considering we're so far, but I think just being there is going to be super cool. And yeah, I'm also really excited to cheer on all of my slope friends and all my big air friends who will be competing right before us. So that'll be fun to kind of watch them. Girls that I like, Grace Henderson, who I've grown up with, and we've both been kind of on the same level of like doing well and then getting injured and then like just having a bunch of
Hmm.
just bumps in the road. But the fact that we both get to go to the Olympics together, I think, is also really special. And seeing her like do her, succeed in her dream is also really fulfilling. So that'll be fun to watch those girls as well. Um, yeah, I'd say that's what I'm excited about. And having my whole family there because it's very rare that my brother and I do an event and have like our grandparents and our cousins have never watched us or my aunt and uncle. So
Oh,
that'll
that's
be
so
super cool
cool.
having family there. And yeah, that's what I'm excited about as well.
Hmm. Are you guys all gonna be able to like hang out afterwards?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stay in Italy for like another week after to just travel and be able to just hang out and explore a little bit. It'll be fun.
Hmm. Yeah, that'll be rad.
Yeah.
You also just like can't go wrong with the Dolomites. Have you been to the
Right?
Dolomites?
I haven't actually,
Okay.
so I'm very excited
Or I
about
guess it's, I don't know if it is I think Livorno is east of the Dolomites. Now that I'm thinking about that, that might be a different range.
it. Yeah. I really don't know anything about Italy. Um, I've been like trying to stay so off the radar, like anything about Olympics. The last few months, I've just tried not to. It's been in one ear out the other. So I
Yeah, that's totally fair. How have you kind of like shut some of that off? I feel like that's kind of the similar question
oh
about
my
like,
gosh, it's been like the most mentally draining season of my entire life. Like just so much pressure, and that's like all that everyone's talking about is like you need to qualify, you need this to qualify, and it's
mhm,
so much pressure to go into an event like knowing you need a certain um like a certain you need to be above this number or above this number if you want to qualify, and it's just yeah, it's a lot of pressure, and I think it was exhausting mentally for a lot of the athletes, and but I'm glad that it worked out because yeah, definitely have never stressed so much about skiing in my whole life. And normally like I'm not a super stressed person and I find a lot of joy in competing, but this past few months have just been like so exhausting and I'm just like scared that I wasn't gonna land a run or scared that my knee was gonna start hurting again or something else was gonna happen. Definitely
mhm.
negative thoughts for winning this season.
That's fair. Well, and I mean, it really is one of those things where it's like, yeah, that's so hard because it is every 4 years. And like, if
Yeah,
one of those
totally.
things starts to go wrong, then that's kind of it.
Yeah, and just like so many like girls as well just getting injured and stuff before like actual season-ending injuries and it's just like so hard to see all of that because you're just yeah, it's just crappy because a lot of people work so hard for this and it just gets taken away so easily.
Hmm. Is
But
do most of the injuries happen like while you're competing in a half pipe, or is it something that might happen?
like my own personal injuries,
Yeah.
honestly, a lot of mine have happened from me doing really stupid things. Um, either related to skiing, but not really. Like I did my knee skiing half pipe, but other than that, I had like a full shoulder reconstruction from doubling with a friend on a snowmobile and going too
Oh
fast.
no.
Or like, or when I was like little, I broke my collarbone because I just airmailed off of a knuckle into like ice, um, and just blew up. I don't know, just like stupid things, but not a ton in the half pipe, but a lot of head injuries in the half pipe, a lot of concussions in the half pipe.
That's fair. Is that just from like hitting it or like fall? How does that happen?
Well, it's just if you like land switch a little too deep, your
Mhm.
momentum's going backwards, so it's super easy to just like slap back.
Got it.
And
Yeah.
I've done that a few times on with the helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely easy-ish to get injured in a half pipe, but thankfully I've been somewhat healthy this year, minus the knee earlier this season.
Mm-hmm. Did you spend any time this summer, like in the southern half of the world, skiing, or what was your summer
Um,
like?
we were kind of just in Mammoth in California, and then in Mount Hood is where we spent most of our time. And then later in the fall, we were in New Zealand.
Okay.
But
How was New Zealand? That sounds fun.
it was incredible. I mean, the skiing was not great. Like we only had like 4 days on snow out of like a month there, which was so much.
4 days? Oh my gosh.
4 good days, maybe even if that, honestly. So that was tough, but I mean, New Zealand is such a beautiful place.
What
So
were you
it's
guys
funny now.
doing the other days that you were not on snow?
Kind of just walking around and exploring more of New Zealand. We had a lot of free time, so a lot of exploring. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but every time we kind of go there, we never have great training. It's just the weather is super tough to work with,
Yeah, that makes sense.
but super pretty to visit. Not
Great
hard.
spot to visit, not awesome for
Yeah.
skiing some of the time.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny. Awesome. Okay, well, I guess wrapping up a little bit, like yeah, what should where can people follow along? I guess NBC Olympics is probably a great place to follow along.
Yeah, my brother and I have done some fun media stuff with them, so I think that's definitely a great place to watch. And yeah, I mean, I'll be posting some stuff from my own Instagram and my TikTok, but I would definitely say the NBC Olympics or the US ski team Instagram post the most updates. They're a lot more frequent than I will be.
Amazing. And then do you have any like pieces of advice to leave people on or anything that like you kind of are using as a bit of a motto?
Um, I would just say to have fun and love what you do. And that's what I've been trying to remind myself this season.
Thank you so much for listening in today. I hope that you enjoyed this conversation and were able to take